Hello, the name's Emmanuel-Adebayo. I'm here to provide you with a few tips as to how to confidently and comfortably speak at public events, including conferences, summits, and seminars. Just a brief bit of information about me. Over the past 15 years, I've served as a Chief Information Officer, Chief Information Security Officer, Head of IT Director in organizations as grand as the Royal Albert Hall, the Royal College of Obs and Gynae, and other organizations. During this period, I've been invited frequently to address my IT leadership peers and business leaders in the UK and abroad at summits, conferences, and seminars. I often question myself as to how I've got to this stage, considering that in my first attempt to address my peers in my secondary school, I actually ended up running off the stage and all the way back to the dormitories because I was too shy to actually speak. So I've just thought now to provide you with a few tips as to how to evolve from a shy professional or a shy individual into someone who's able to confidently present to your peers and to others wherever you're invited to speak. So the first thing I do when I'm invited to speak at a conference is to speak to the conference organizer to find out a bit more about the event. I ask two questions largely. First of all, who's the target audience? So if I've been invited to address a group of board executives, I'm not going to prepare a technical speech. On the other hand, if I'm invited to address architects and engineers, then of course I'd be able to tailor my speech accordingly. So I always ask questions regarding the target audience. Another question I ask is about the timings. So how long have I got to speak? If I've been given 5 minutes to speak, I'll then go away and prepare a speech that will take me up to 4 minutes. So around 80% of the allocated time. Why? Because there may be untoward distractions that may throw me off course during my speech. For example, someone may wish to exit the room, hopefully temporarily rather than out of boredom, so I like to take little distractions into account. So once I've spoken to the conference organizers, I'll now go and do some research into the subject that I've been invited to speak on. Now, I clearly recognize that if invited to speak on a subject, the understanding is that I'm an expert in that subject. On the other hand, I try to ensure that I provide to the audience the most up-to-date industry knowledge on the subject matter rather than just my most recent knowledge on the subject matter. So if I've worked in an industry and I've studied a subject 5 years ago, for example, I won't want to be providing my audience with the knowledge that I acquired 5 years ago. Rather, I'd want to be providing them with the most up-to-date industry knowledge, which is why I do that research. So that's my next tip. Always research towards your next speaking engagement, no matter how well the last speaking engagement went. Once I've acquired that up-to-date knowledge, I go and prepare my presentation, and I don't go for large slides with all the gimmicks, all the transitions and all the effects. Rather, I stick to a few bullet points to prompt me and remind me of exactly what I want to say, what I intend to deliver to the audience. The audience are not there to evaluate or assess your PowerPoint skills. They're there to actually glean some knowledge, hopefully, from you as a subject matter expert. So the next thing I consider once I've finished my presentation prep is my outfit for the day. It's pretty important to me that I appear presentable and comfortable in whatever I wear, in whatever setting. So if I'm addressing a group of girls, for example, considering a career in IT, I'll wear something different to what I'd wear in the event I were to be addressing board executives. I love clothes, I love fashion, and I always make sure that I wear what suits me in whatever setting. Doesn't stop me from being a true IT professional, a true business leader, a true IT leader. What I wear doesn't matter. However, when I'm presenting, it will show in my body language and in my presentation if I were to wear something that I'm not comfortable in. So that's another tip. Try and settle for something that you're comfortable in rather than your interview suit, for example, if you're doing a presentation. Just consider the target audience and you'll be fine. Now, on the day itself, I try to arrive at the venue about half an hour early or so to give me the opportunity to mingle with the audience. If I can get a few names and identify a few faces, when I'm up there speaking, in the event I sense that the audience isn't quite warming to me, I'll look at the faces. I'll look out for the faces of those individuals that I've met in the morning or prior to the event, and hopefully I'll receive a smile as a gesture of reassurance. So I try to get there half an hour early, and if I make a mistake while speaking, I'll continue because that's what professionals do. I remember in 2012 when I addressed my CIO peers at the Chief Information Officer Summit 2012. As I got up to actually approach the podium, I tripped over my feet. And so I just made a joke about the size of my feet, which are quite legendary, which I'm not going to disclose here, but just made a joke and carried on. And I think it's crucial that when we're going out there to speak, just loosen up and lighten up. Not a life or death speech you're making there. And if you fluff your lines, if you fluff your well-rehearsed speech, you live to speak another day. So just don't take things seriously. Don't draw that much attention to your mistakes, because in many cases, the audience may not even have noticed that you've made a mistake or that you've fluffed your lines. And if you do make a mistake that is observed, carry on. Just carry on. But one thing that I would also stress is that if you know that you are that nervous that your hands are trembling, for example, don't pick up the water that's there. Don't pick up a bottle to pour water, because that may be the only sign that you're actually nervous to the audience. When they see you splashing your water all over the place, or they see your hand trembling with the cup and you can't get the cup to your mouth. So don't fret, don't be nervous, go out there, give the speech of your life, and in the event things don't go the way you would have wanted things to go, just remember tomorrow's another day, and it's not a case of life or death. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this brief video, and I'd welcome some comments and observations on it. And if you've got other tips, then please provide these tips in the comments section.